Given the growing enthusiasm for biodiesel in Pittsburgh and elsewhere, one might begin to believe that it could be the answer to our dependence on petroleum. But is it really?
Some people probably feel maybe a little bit differently than I do. I feel like anything that is a renewable energy source and cuts down on fossil fuels is a positive thing. I'm not sure that biofuels or ethanol are going to be the end-all be-all answer of that.
On a personal level, I don't really believe that any of the grease-based fuels are a hard and fast answer to the problem that we have globally and environmentally.
I feel like vegetable oil is not the end-all of alternative energy. Not at all. Like, it would never supply the entire world's energy needs at our current usage.
People don't typically think about like their product, like bioproducts, as more than just the product that sits in front of them or the fuel that goes in their tank. But it's actually, when you think about the life cycle, where did it come from? How is it made? Where did the stuff that it took to make your stuff come from? So the life cycle of biodiesel means we're concerned about the farming of soybeans, we're concerned about the processing of those soybeans and the energy and the chemicals that it takes to make them into biodiesel. We're concerned about the use of the biodiesel and the emissions that come from it. We're concerned about the transportation of the soybeans from the farm to the processing plant to the gas station. So there's absolutely no way throughout the life cycle of diesel, because you put so much energy and so many fuels into making it and transporting it, that it could be carbon neutral.
Even if you start your car up on biodiesel and then run it on veggie oil, even if you're using both of those different biofuel technologies, you're still driving on roads that are made of petroleum, on tires that are made of petroleum, and having to put motor oil and coolant and all these other things in your car.
There are issues with respect to water quality. It's from agricultural materials. The reason that we have hypoxia and eutrophication, hypoxia in the Gulf of Mexico, is because of the large amount of agricultural production that we do in the Midwest. All of these chemicals run down the Mississippi River Basin, Mississippi River into the Gulf of Mexico, and all these nutrients actually end up stimulating excess growth of algae, and eventually the oxygen in the area goes to nothing and fish die. It's a very unhealthy, unpopulated ecosystem. And that's resulting, from the increased production of corn and soybeans that we're using to make biodiesel. It's a trade-off of, we've got these high global warming impacts, but even higher eutrophication impacts for biodiesel, whereas with regular diesel you've got much higher global warming impacts and no eutrophication potential. So it's a total trade-off. That's something that, as a scientist, I'll say, look, there's this trade-off. We'll see X percentage difference, but it's up to decision makers and people to place their value on, do we care about reducing global warming more than eutrophication? Or ideally, what I would say as a scientist, let's engineer the system so that we minimize both.
I don't think there's going to be one solution. There's not going to be that one eureka moment where suddenly the problem is fixed. But I think we're going to fix the problem. We're going to meet these challenges with lots of small little steps. There are going to be places where ethanol is going to make sense, and so people are going to be able to reduce their consumption of oil a little bit by using ethanol. There are going to be other places where solar is going to be great, and they can produce a lot of electricity, and so we're going to have plug-in hybrids.
And these questions they start to get at the core of really how we're going to organize our society. I think they get at larger questions, because if we continue to grow and consume on this planet the way we are today, I don't care whether it's biodiesel or nuclear power or fuel cells, we need to have efficiencies and conservation be part of any prescription for having a more sustainable fuel system, for having more sustainable. We can't do it at the current rate of consumption, so we need those 100, 200 mile a gallon cars, we need mass transit systems, and then we can use the biofuels where necessary as well.